and welcome to Crickpedia. And as a build-up to the World Test Championship final, let's select a World Test Championship 11. And the basis on which we are going to select this 11 is on the basis of the player's stats, the impact that he created, and irrespective of how his team performed in the World Test Championship, because this 11 is completely based on individual records. And again, as I say, I want you guys to choose your own 11s, and please write them in the comment box. Now, who are your openers? When it came to choosing the openers, 4 names absolutely were magnificent throughout the World Test Championship. You had Dean Elgar, 848 runs, averaging about 44, brilliant as an opener. What about David Warner? 948 runs, averaging around 47, again brilliant numbers. But the other two were simply too good. You had Rohit Sharma from India, scoring 1030 runs, averaging more than 64. Superb numbers as an opener. The new Rohit Sharma was seen in the World Test Championship and when he started opening against South Africa for the first time. And he was just brilliant, and automatically you choose Rohit Sharma as your first opener. And the second opener from Sri Lanka, Dimuth Karunaratne, 999 runs, averaging above 55. Simply on the basis of average, out of the 4, I'm choosing Rohit and Dimuth Karunaratne because of the kind of consistency they showed. Both Elgar and Warner slowly tapered off as the World Test Championship progressed. And well, to see the 4 openers were brilliant, and out of them, these 2 were outstanding. Who is your number 3 batsman? Now, there were 2 fantastic number 3 batsmen in the entire World Test Championship. From New Zealand, you had Kane Williamson, their captain. 817 runs, an average of 57. Brilliant numbers for a number 3 batsman because it controls the batting innings of the team. Superb. And in any format, you would pick Kane Williamson as your number 3 batsman. Now, who's competing in front of him? Marnus Labuschagne, who was a revelation in this entire World Test Championship. People saw Marnus Labuschagne properly after Steve Smith got injured in that Ashes series, and Marnus Labuschagne took his place. And who knew that they were going to see another Steve Smith in the form of Marnus Labuschagne. He scored 1,675 runs at an average of more than 72 and was simply the best batsman of the World Test Championship, irrespective of any batting position. And that is why I'm selecting Marnus Labuschagne as my number 3 batsman. Now, who is your number 4 batsman? You have 2 phenomenal batsmen of the contemporary world who are going to compete in this number 4 spot. You have Joe Root from England, the second highest scorer of the World Test Championship with 1,660 runs at an average of 54. Sublime batting performances. He scored a double hundred against India in his 100th Test match. Superb records. In front of him, somebody who came back from a horrible ball tampering scandal into this Test format and directly stepped into the World Test Championship. Steve Smith, who scored 1,341 runs at a stupendous average of 64, as I say, and was brilliant. And the kind of impact he had in Australia, winning those matches, that's why I'm going to select Steve Smith as my number 4 batsman. And do remember that Steve Smith scored 700 plus runs in that Ashes series with missing a match. In 4 games, he scored 700 runs against England, and England had no idea how to get Steve Smith out, and he actually scripted the perfect comeback after a horrible downfall in his career. And that's why, as I said, Steve Smith is a perfect choice. Now, at number 5, again, you have 2 people competing for that spot. Their teams really didn't do well in this World Test Championship, but that really doesn't make a difference because it is all based on individual records, as I said. You have Dhananjaya De Silva from Sri Lanka, 653 runs at an average of 59. He carried his team through those tough times and was a brilliant youngster to watch in this World Test Championship. In front of him, a player who I've admired since I saw him play in the 2019 World Cup. He was brilliant. He doesn't actually bat at number 5, he bats at number 4, but the kind of performances that he gave in this World Test Championship, irrespective of how his team did, you just cannot ignore Azam. 932 runs at an average of 66. Superb numbers. Individually, he was sensational. I'm looking for an all-rounder at number 6 who can bowl quite well and can bat brilliantly. And there was just one standout performer for this spot, and it was Ben Stokes from England, scoring 1,334 runs at a decent average and taking 34 wickets at the same time. the guy who had that brilliant 2019 year when the World Test Championship started, made England win a stupendous game against Australia. We all remember when England actually needed around 70-75 runs with only 1 wicket remaining, and Ben Stokes batted and made them win that superb play. There's absolutely nobody around him who matches Ben Stokes for that number. Now, at number 7, I'm looking for my wicketkeeper. There were many wicketkeepers who took part in this World Test Championship, but 2 of them were standout performers for their sides. You have Mohammad Rizwan from Pakistan, 741 runs at an average of 46. Superb numbers for a wicketkeeper who bats down the order. Then you had Rishabh Pant from India, 662 runs at an average of 41. Rizwan is ahead of Rishabh Pant when it came to statistics, whereas Rishabh Pant was such an impactful player. End of 2020, he flew to Australia and made India win a superb series in Australia, which was regarded as one of the finest series India has ever played. And then he came to India, then against England. How many players would reverse scoop James Anderson bowling with a new ball? Well, Rishabh Pant had the guts to. Now what about number 8? Let's do one thing. Let's leave number 8 for the time being and let's go to number 9. Now, I'm looking for my spinner, and to be honest, with the kind of statistics I saw throughout the World Test Championship, this World Test Championship wasn't kind to spinners, and there was only one spinner who could make a mark, and well, he made more than a mark. Ravichandran Ashwin from India took 67 wickets at an average of just 20. Like, he's just giving 20 runs and taking a wicket, again giving 20 runs and taking a wicket. Unbelievable numbers. And not only in India, he did that in Australia as well. The ball doesn't turn everywhere, but Ashwin was such an impactful player that he would make that ball turn everywhere and make that ball literally talk everywhere. And that's why Ashwin is the only spinner in my side, because he was the only spinner who made a fantastic mark in this World Test Championship. At number 10, I'm going with a bowler who is simply the best bowler of the entire World Test Championship. Patrick Cummins from Australia took 70 wickets, highest number of wickets in the World Test Championship at an average of just 21. And every time Australia were down in the game, you give Cummins the ball, he would come and take a wicket. Give Cummins the ball again, he would come and take a wicket. And that was the mastery of Cummins throughout this World Test Championship. He grew as a bowler, and in turn Australia won so many matches, and that's why Patrick Cummins comes at number 10. Now who's your number 11 player? Every time you give that red ball in his hand, he would produce a wicket. Stuart Broad, having 69 wickets in this World Test Championship at an average of 20, was simply brilliant. And we all remember that Broad versus Warner battle in the Ashes. Every time Broad would come right and round the wicket and Warner would nick it to the slips. It was brilliant, completely. It was one of the highest quality of bowling that I've ever seen. And Stuart Broad, that's why picks himself at number. Now, we left the number 8 spot to be chosen later, and it's time we choose it. There were 2 New Zealanders who are competing for this number 8 spot. One, and very experienced Tim Southee, who took 51 wickets at an average of 20. Simply brilliant numbers, you want him in your side. But in front of him is a very young New Zealander who made his debut midway through that World Test Championship. Got his first 2 wickets as Virat Kohli and Chiteshwar Pujara. You could not ignore Kyle Jamieson, because he's only bowled in 12 innings. He's taken 36 wickets already, and at an average of just 13. You give 13 runs and take a wicket. How amazing is that? And that is the reason I'm saying Kyle Jamieson, a youngster, a sensation. And don't forget, he can bat as well. Picks himself at number 8.
Except for Babar Azam, there isn't any international captain in this side. And that too, Babar Azam became Pakistan's captain lately. So whom do you go with as your captain? I'm going with Steve Smith as my captain, because the kind of grit he showed when he made his comeback into the Australian side shows he's mentally very strong, and he does deserve one more chance as captain, and I'm pretty sure with the kind of mental strength he has, he can lead this side to perfection, and that's why Steve Smith is my captain.
We have chosen our 11, but from an Indian perspective, there are 2 big Indian names who are missing out on being in this 11. We have Virat Kohli from the batting front, 877 runs at an average of 43. They are good numbers, but when you see Virat Kohli and the kind of standards he's created for himself, they aren't great numbers. In front of him, another player from India, Jasprit Bumrah, a prime bowler when it comes to the bowling front, 34 wickets at an average of 22. Again, good enough numbers, with the kind of standard that Jasprit Bumrah has created for himself, they aren't great numbers. They both started their World Test Championship campaign superbly, with Bumrah taking a hat-trick against the West Indies and Virat Kohli scoring a double 100 against South Africa. But midway tapered off, and the kind of performances that they would love to give for their side, they were just not able to produce them. And that's why both these players missed out on being in this 11, and even missed out on being in contention to be in this 11.
If you enjoy this cricketing fun, do like, share and comment. And to know about my upcoming videos, do subscribe Crickpedia and hit the notification bell. Thank you.